Devils Wednesday. This is the Woo Report. The Woo Report. The Morning Woo Edition. Episode 320. Titled Devils Take on Hurricanes Tonight. I'm your host, Sam Woo. Coming to you live from the bunker in the primetime radio studios in an undisclosed location in New Jersey. Streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter Live, and Twitch on the Let's Go Devils Network. Seeing people filing in, Devils fans all over for the Devils take on the Carolina Hurricanes tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern start. We've got Game Day Live teeing up around 6 p.m. Eastern. Devils After Dark after the game. Scotty of SiriusXM, Liquid Metal, and I will recap the game that was. Also, before we begin, as people are filing into the social media chat room, I see a lot of people on YouTube Live. I see people on Facebook Live and Twitter Live. But I have a little bit of an announcement to make, which was quite a surprise last night for the Let's Go Devils podcast. Last night, in Chartable, the boost we got from the Devils Rangers series has catapulted the Let's Go Devils podcast into the top 10 hockey podcasts in Apple Podcasts in the United States. Of course, Spittin' Chicklets is ranked number 1. Number 2, the 32 Thoughts. But at number 9, as of last night, the Let's Go Devils podcast is a top 10 contender of all hockey podcasts in the United States. And we cannot thank you enough for all the subscribes to our YouTube channel at Let's Go Devils, on Twitter at Let's Go Devils Pod, on Facebook at Let's Go Devils Podcasts, our Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Please rate, review, and subscribe to our podcast. Our goal for the playoffs, because we know a lot of other podcasts talk a lot of trash about your New Jersey Devils, especially Spittin' Chicklets. And I know there are a lot of Devils fans that like that podcast. It's not about us against them, but it would be kind of nice to knock them off the number 1 spot. And then we can be like, yeah, Ryan Whitney, you want to talk a little trash about us? We just took your spot. It would be kind of cool to just say that. Nothing spiteful, just a little playful jab, fun. But we can't thank you enough for all the support. And we'll be back on the big stage Sunday for Game 3, Sunday afternoon game. I hope you guys all show up to the big stage. We're going to line up with guests again. We had Chico Resch and Bryce Salvador in round 1 against the New York Rangers. NY Davey says he'll be there. That's sweet. But thank you for putting us in the top 10. Actually, this morning we dropped down to number 10. But still, we're a top 10 podcast. We can say that now for the first time. The Let's Go Devils podcast is a top 10 podcast. But enough about us, the Let's Go Devils podcast. Let's get straight to the Woo Report today. It's a happy Devils Wednesday morning. The calm before the storm when the Devils take on South Jersey, which is Raleigh, North Carolina, where the Carolina Hurricanes reside. I know a lot of Devils fans, transplants from New Jersey that have relocated to Raleigh, North Carolina, and they are having that nice North Carolina zip code that can't be geofenced, buying playoff tickets tonight at PNC Bank Arena. And they're buying tickets for other Devils fans coming down from New Jersey because we are going to infiltrate that arena. And it's going to be hard to tell because the Carolina Hurricanes are a bunch of copycats. They moved from Hartford. They changed to pretty much New Jersey Devils colors. So it's going to be kind of hard to see, what the percentages is. But I know those Devils fans are going to be loud and proud. And, they are going to be representing our New Jersey Devils. Now, Max says, getting back to the top 10, there's 2 Rangers podcasts ahead of us and 1 Bruins. But you know what? They're going to be falling out of the top 10 because right now, the reason why they're ranked higher is because they're just too busy crying that they're no longer they're not where the New Jersey Devils are, where they just move on to the next round. So that'll eventually drop probably by next week, so we're not worried about that. But onward and upward we go. Back to the podcast. Anyway, so the Devils play the Carolina Hurricanes, and you know what? The Road Warriors are back. Only one lousy shootout goal or one lousy shootout save was the difference between the two teams, where the Carolina Hurricanes now have the home ice advantage. Fine. Rules are the rules. It's all fair. But still, I don't think that's an accurate measurement which team is better. The Carolina Hurricanes have had their injuries, but they're such a good team. They're a well-coached team that they've made it to the second round, beating the New York Islanders. But the Devils are a tougher team. The Devils have depth. Lindy Ruff has options right now. And the Devils got through the first round without really Jesper Bratt or Timo Meier getting on the score sheet. Jesper Bratt getting that empty net goal. Hopefully that will propel him like how it propelled, the Devils, like Palat in the last round with that empty net goal. Despite the lousy shootout record, thanks, Max, of the New Jersey Devils. I mean, they're not that great in the shootout, but you know what? There's no shootouts in the playoffs. So it could be deceiving that the Carolina Hurricanes are the better team. But really, will the real New Jersey Devils show up? And I think they will. Rod Brindamore head-to-head with Lindy Ruff. Lindy Ruff is pushing all the right buttons, whether you agree with him or not. Lindy Ruff has got depth. And that was said on the State of the Fan address last night with Josh Reinitz that, Lindy Ruff on paper has a lot of pieces to play with. He can insert Lazar, or he can insert Boquist, or he can put Miles Wood in, or he can mix and match. Plus he's got Luke Hughes as really kind of an interesting, unique X factor back there, just practicing with the team, that the Devils really, are well matched with the Carolina Hurricanes. Will the Hurricanes be able to stop Jack Hughes? Jack Hughes is having a great playoffs. Eric Holla, didn't I tell you about him? I know I have to take another victory lap about it, but Eric Holla has done such a tremendous job that he's also going to be the factor. But the other Devils need to step it up. Timo Meier, I would assume that he's playing tonight. He seems to be okay. Merritt Wiggins says, "Woo back, baby." Yep, we're back. We're back. And I was thinking, at American Whiskey, we should play, that song, Whoop, There It Is. And then, the Vancouver Canucks coach they had it, Bruce, There It Is. How about Woo, There It Is? I think that would be kind of cool to do before pregame. Anyway, that's just me talking, jibber-jabbering, of course. So the Devils are coming off a high. Monday night, beating the New York Rangers, having 1 day's rest, going into Carolina. Carolina is well rested right now. Just waiting. But the Devils have something that most teams don't really have. They've got that youth. They're probably the youngest team in the playoffs. And they've got that unlimited skating energy right now, which makes this team very unique. And I honestly think that they're going to get gassed by the time you get to games 4, 5, 6, 7. But the Devils need to skate game 1. And you know what? This young team doesn't know any better. Carolina, I had pinned to win the Stanley Cup, or at least get in the Stanley Cup Finals in the beginning of the season. But the Devils match up because they can skate. And the Beefalytics, you want to talk about the Beefalytics? You got to be proud of your New Jersey Devils for physically stepping up against the New York Rangers. That experienced team. I heard that Boomer Esiason on WFAN was it was so nice for that victory lap yesterday. All the anti-Rangers talk, you know. All he could say is New Jersey's bridges are terrible. That, you know, New York's bridges are better. Like, stop it. If that's all you got, I think the Devils did their jobs. And I hope Boomer Esiason saw that Instagram video of the Devils fans mocking the Rangers goal song and celebrating with it after that victory, Game 7, 4-0 victory, out in the streets outside of American Whiskey on Edison Place. And did they ever find that Ranger fan that sucker punched one of the Woo Crew members? We should put out a reward, the Let's Go Devils podcast. We should really put out a reward to find that Ranger fan and his wife and report them to the Newark Police Department, because you can't be doing that. You can't be doing that. You know, just get up, leave, and then go home. No reason to sucker punch people. I'll put out a reward. I got to think of something to give away, though. Maybe we should put a, I don't know, should we put a monetary award, or, you know. How about a nice steak dinner? No, they don't have steaks there. How about this? Sam Wu, if anybody can positively identify that New York Rangers fan and his wife, we assume that his wife, the woman that he's with at the game, that sucker punched that Wu Crew member, I will personally buy you dinner at American Whiskey if you're able to positively identify who this Ranger fan was that sucker punched that Woo Crew member. We got to find these people. You can't have violence like that in the stands. I know it happens, but that was just absolutely asinine to me, you know. So, yes, yeah, I'll even up the ante. Thank you, Max. Dinner at American Whiskey and a guest appearance, a hero's welcome for whoever that can find that Ranger fan. That's the reward, and report it to us, and that person gets charged, and a guest appearance on pregame on Game Day Live as well. And Selective Voice says, for real, that was unnecessary for him to do that. Yeah, I mean, you know, mistakes happen. Pay for your mistakes. Like, you shouldn't have punched the guy. You know, that is just absolutely, there was no reason for that. It's not like Devils fans going around punching Madison Square Garden employees. No, it doesn't happen like that. I mean, what a loser that guy is. So, I'm putting it out there. If anybody can identify this guy, you know, I like to know, because he should. I think it's a simple battery assault. I don't know. We should actually call Josh Reinitz, the guest that we had yesterday. He also writes for the Jersey Sporting News. We should call him up and be like, all right, what can we do? What can we do to get this guy legally speaking? So. Yeah, and you know, if there's ever a time you need facial recognition software like, what James Dolan does to other attorneys that enter his building. That's the time to have facial recognition software to identify who this New York Rangers fan is, and the woman that he was with, also a Rangers fan. Because, honestly, that was uncalled for. But anyway, enough about the Rangers. They should not hijack this podcast like how we hijacked their goal song the other day. All right, so the reward is out there. Dinner's on me at American Whiskey, and a special guest appearance on Game Day Live and a hero's welcome. If you can positively identify, and verify who this Ranger fan was that hit the Woo Crew member, and also the guy that got punched, we'd like to reach out to you as well because, we want to give you a pat on the back for your restraint and representing the New Jersey Devils very well. Okay, enough of that. Also, I should probably buy you dinner as well. All right, so Woo's Most Wanted, a new show. Peter Seifert. Yeah. Yeah, suddenly it's a crime series with Sam Woo. It's kind of, you remember that show Unsolved Mysteries back in the 80s, Robert Stack? When I was a little kid, his voice, really scared the crap out of me. Like, you watch, Unsolved Mysteries at, 8 o'clock at night. It's dark. You're, 7 years old, and he's like, if you have any information about this murder, please call us now at 1-800-876-5353. And then you get that Unsolved Mysteries music. Yeah, we're going to have a new crime show, Woo's Most Wanted. That's a good one, Peter. Going to keep that in the bank as well. But yeah, so Carolina Hurricanes, wow. So that's going to be a good matchup. And, looking around the league last night, some of the games, and I'm just going to pull it up right here. Some of the games last night, Panthers coming off their high, Game 7 against the big bad Boston Bruins, beating the Toronto Maple Leafs 4-2 in Toronto, even while getting outshot in that game. And I will tell you that I hope the Devils have that same momentum, that Game 7 high, where they can just steal one, Game 1, right off the bat, because the Maple Leafs were a little bit rested. Same with the Carolina Hurricanes. And could the Devils steal one just like that? And also, what about the Seattle Kraken as well, coming off of their Game 7 high, beating the defending Stanley Cup champions 5-4 in overtime over the Dallas Stars. Scary, right? Scary. These teams, the Boston Bruins, the President's Trophy winner, historically, in an historical fashion, was beaten by the Panthers. They took that Game 7 high and snuck in Game 1 against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Kraken, same thing, beating the defending Stanley Cup champions in overtime. I'm sorry, but beating the Stars in overtime, 5-4. And the Devils, can they beat the Metropolitan Division champs for the regular season with their Game 7 high coming off the New York Rangers victory? Could happen, folks. Could happen. But we'll have more for Game Day Live tonight. It's going to be Shorts Guy and Vinny. I'll be on assignment for Game Day Live, producing behind the scenes. 6 p.m. Eastern tonight. Peter says, I think Sam should buy me dinner. Look, Sam Woo only has limited funds to go around, and Mrs. Woo is only concerned of what dinner I'll be eating, but that's another story for another day. Harris Anderson says, good morning, everybody, from a Devils fan in South Jersey. Whereabouts, Harris? We're in North Jersey here in an undisclosed location. But yeah, tonight we're playing South Jersey, which is Raleigh, North Carolina. All the transplants are going to take over that building tonight. Redneck Hockey will see Jersey just annex that entire place tonight. At Sam, I thought you were the bank of WooBucks. Yes, the cryptocurrency WooBucks. That's an off-season thing that we're going to have to figure out. That would be kind of cool. Mays Landing, says Harris. Yes, thank you. And don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. But also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Harris, at Let's Go Devils. Twitter, follow us on Twitter, at Let's Go Devils Pod. And on Facebook, at Let's Go Devils Podcast. Also rate, review, subscribe to our Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, because now we are officially, at least for 1 day or 2 days, a top 10 podcast and all hockey podcasts in the United States. Can you believe that? This little podcast that started off as three guys at a bar, or really three Devils fans at a bar, talking Devils hockey. We added some other fans as well, especially you, the audience, that we've been talking to this entire time for the last 6 years. And I'll tell you, we are a top 10 podcast now. This little podcast is no longer little anymore. But we're going to stay humble and say we are a little podcast. Because the strangest thing about this podcast is, it's not really strange. We're not a part of like a big media conglomerate network, mind you. We're just the three Devils fans at a bar. And just like the Jersey way, we don't care what you think. So what if we're not backed by billions of dollars like Barstool and Spittin' Chicklets or Sportsnet and 32 Thoughts? It's not about, you know what it is? It's you, the Devils fans, that make this podcast so great. NY Davey says, you get credentials next from the team. Actually, you know what, NY Davey, believe it or not, our philosophy is no, we're not going to get credentials by choice, because then we can say whatever we want. And with that comes with a lot of responsibility and privilege. But we can't thank you enough for all of you. Also, ANJ Devil 2 says, exit 8 from the Turnpike. You know, Harris says, I got to commute to an office full of Flyer fans in Cherry Hill. Love being able to wear Devils merch in front of their faces. LOL. You know what, Harris? I'll tell you. You wear that Devils jersey merch with pride. You've suffered enough for the last 10, 12 years. There was a video out of Joshua Harris. No relations to Harris on the YouTube Live, but I'm assuming. But Devils fans were actually high-fiving Joshua Harris after that Game 7 victory. And I thought about it because I've been very critical of Joshua Harris. Still will be. But for him to take a victory lap and show personality, thank you. Thank you. Because it shows us you care. I know you made a lot of money, but that's okay. I'm all about you caring and making a lot of money, not you not caring and making a lot of money. No, you cared. It showed. And thank you to Joshua Harris. Got to give credits due. NY Davey said, the podcast of the people. We are the podcast of you New Jersey Devils fans. Remember, Game Day Live, Devils After Dark, tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern, Game Day Live, and Devils After Dark. Scotty of Sirius XM, Liquid Metal, and I will recap the game that was. Enjoy your commute, everybody. Hands 10-2 on the wheel. This is the Morning Woo on the Woo Report. Till next time, let's go Devils.